Hey, welcome to Grandma's Corner 2020, and I have a really great recipe that I have made more than 10 times, I'm sure, because I love it so much, and it is keto-friendly candied pecans. I'm hoping that you can see that recipe. And go ahead and take a snapshot of that if you'd like. And when I post this, I will go ahead and put this in the comments as well. So easy to make. And if you love pecans, then you are gonna love candied pecans, because who doesn't? All right, what are we gonna need? We are going to need a sugar substitute. You know how I love this monk fruit. Again, this is a great sugar substitute for people, especially with diabetes, because it does not raise the sugar level in your body. It has no carbs because the sugar alcohol offsets the carbohydrates that are in there. No fat, no calories, and it is non-GMO. So go for it. We need organic pecans. Regular pecans will work too. I prefer organic and raw, and they're halved. And you're going to need an egg white and cinnamon, and you're going to need some sea salt. So I've made this many times with this recipe. A couple of times I put in nutmeg because sometimes I just like to have that flavor, but mostly I just keep the cinnamon. So there you go, folks. There is a wonderful bowl of candied pecans. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna crack this egg, and I actually already did it. I separated it, and I put the yolk in a bowl, which I will use later to cook up something else. And I have the white in there, and I'm going to beat that until it becomes very stiff, almost like a meringue. It doesn't have to be super stiff, but when it just starts to peak, then that's when you're going to take your 4.5 cups of raw pecans, and you're gonna fold it into the egg whites that have been beaten, and then this combination of 1/2 cup of the sugar substitute, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. And that's it, pretty easy. And we're gonna coat them. You're gonna bake these at 325 for about 20 minutes. Now the thing about having the caramelized pecans is you have to be careful not to overcook it, because you will get that little burned taste. So no more than 20 minutes, and halfway through you're gonna wanna flip them. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna beat these because it's a very obnoxious sound. So I'm gonna have you hold on to your britches, and I will be right back. Okay, folks, I've got this all meringued up. Look at that, I've got it all beaten. And if I stick my beaters in there, you can see how it's standing up a bit. So that is perfect. So now I'm gonna take my 4.5 cups of pecans, and I'm gonna dump those in there, and I'm gonna make sure that they get mixed up really well, because you need to have them coated so the sugar, dry sugar mix will stick to each of these nuts. All right, and it doesn't take long at all. As soon as you have this mixed up, you wanna make sure that your dry ingredients are all ready to go, because this tends to dry out pretty fast. All right, in goes the sugar, cinnamon, and salt, and I'm gonna give those a good flip as well and get them all coated. And I've already turned on my oven to 325 degrees. And I've lined my sheet, my jelly roll sheet, and I'm going to be putting now this mix on here. And I line this because, oh my gosh, parchment paper is the best. You have very little cleaning when you use parchment paper. So I just keep mixing this until I notice there's no more dry stuff in the bottom. And that actually looks pretty good. So I'm gonna dump that all on there. If I have any remains of some of the dry, I'll put that on there and give it a good spread around. I don't know if you can see that or not. Spread, because you want these all to be baked up. And then you want to make sure that you trim off the excess parchment paper, because I've had parchment paper hanging over the edge and it actually has caught on fire. So you want to be pretty careful with that. So trim that off to the edge, lickety split. And then I'm going to pop this in the oven, and after 10 minutes, there we go. After 10 minutes, look at that. Boy, they almost look good enough to eat right now. I'm going to go ahead and flip them around again and then cook them another 10. You can start to smell them at about the 20-minute mark. And when you start to have that beautiful aroma of the cinnamon and the nuts, you want to make sure you take them out. You do not want to overcook these. So I'm going to pop these in the oven and I'm going to show you what a beautiful snack this will become. Ta-ta. Okay, I just pulled these out of the oven and look at how beautiful those look. Oh, and they smell really good too. They don't smell burned, so I had them in there for just the right amount of time, 20 minutes and no longer. So I'm going to let these totally cool, and then I'm going to break them apart as they are going to be stuck together, and then I'm going to put them in a jar and try to hide them in my pantry so I don't go sniffing them out, because they are very addicting. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, keto candied pecans. And I suppose you can probably do this with walnuts too if you'd like, or you can try it with almonds. But the pecans that's my favorite nut. So I'm going to stick with it and enjoy. So I hope you learned something new and you're going to try this recipe. Thank you for subscribing. And I'm going to tell you, they are pretty darn good. So buyer beware. Alrighty, I'll catch you next time on Grandma's Corner 2020. Have a good day. Bye-bye.